Oh my gosh, hello thespians, welcome. My name's Julianne and my preferred pronouns are she, her, and hers. I am conversationally endowed, grammar divergent, narcoleptic multipotentialite. If you want to know more, please visit my webpage at keenbee.com, which is KEENBEE.com. And for more current stuff that I'm working on, you can always find me at Facebook at Keen Bee Creative. Narcolepsy is both a beautiful and horrendous dragon. I think it depends on the lighting. It's the reason I'm here today to talk to you about 8 ways to train your emotional dragon. I'm proud to say that I've trained it pretty well, at least have reined it in. So multipotentialism, fancy word for the modern day Renaissance person. Emily Wapnick is a person that I saw do a TED Talk, and she really opened my mind to the fact that I don't have to be pigeonholed, and I'm certainly not. A lot of times I feel like people try to categorize me into one profession or another, but I own my own business called Keen Bee Creative, where I do graphic design and illustration and consult, but I also teach at William Jewell College in digital media. And I've been doing professional stage arts in wig design and styling and hair, plus props building, as well as special effects makeup and so forth. So I've got my feet in a lot of things. Is that a saying? I'm going to make it a saying. So let's talk about reining in those fire-breathing emotions and learning to embrace or at least understand their purpose. First, mindfulness versus meditation. They're not arm wrestling, they're just different. So meditation, you're setting out to relax. You're setting out to be in a pleasant environment and get some relaxation and some solitude, or however you go about meditating. Mindfulness can lead to meditation, but I think a lot of people use the term being mindful and maybe they're not sure what it can truly do or how powerful it can be. So mindfulness is being in the moment, whether it's icky or it's not. So it's, I do a lot of poop analogies, so here's one for you. It's basically you fell into a pile of poo and you just have to sit there and take it all in. Yeah, it sucks, but you have no control. You're powerless to the situation. You're sitting in a dragon-sized poo, and there's nothing you can do in that moment. So what do people usually do? Well, they complain. We complain when we don't have control over a situation, whether you're hot or cold. It's because it's out of our control that we complain. This isn't necessarily bad or good. It just means that that's where that stems from. So being mindful in a sticky situation or a bad situation can feel really uncomfortable, and we want to get out of it. We want to solve it. We want to resolve it, or we want to run away, fight, flight, you name it. Our body is reacting. So what I'm talking about when I say emotional intelligence is being able to pause and be within that moment, be present. I do a lot of ignoring and running away. And I think that's understandable, especially right now. So we have to give ourselves some grace because this world is a bit cuckoo crazy. So I just thought of an excellent example. So, hello, voiceover. I was working in a team. I was leading these college students on a performance in wig design. I came in, designed the wigs, and showed them how to apply them and so forth. They had leadership on the team that just wasn't working out. Prior to even starting, they came to me and said, hey, this student never follows through. She doesn't do the tasks that she says she's going to do. Well, it was all based on the year before's performance. So I said, hey, let's give this person a chance. I don't know them. Let's just see how it works out. Well, sure enough, she would say, I can do it, but then it didn't happen. I walked in and the team is now complaining. They're complaining loudly enough and then quieting down when the person walks in late. So the person knows something's happening, and that just brings down morale. So I had a talk with the team and I said, look, yes, she's got a pattern of not following through, but we don't know what's happening in her life. If this is a problem, you need to talk to her. You need to settle this. You need to collaborate. It can be a really difficult thing to want to go and talk to somebody about a complaint that you have about their behavior. Just know this, they may not be responsive. You're just trying to get the best job done within the confines of what you have to work with. So instead of getting angry or deciding to get angry because this person is not living up to your expectations, especially after seeing a pattern of more than 3 times of them not being able to do what you've asked, then you need to take a step back and say, all right, I've talked to them, they're still doing this, or they still have this behavior. It is my choice to get angry, which is silly at that point, because once you see a pattern, you just need to move on and figure it out. And what they do bring to the table, this person, is just icing on the cake. But don't hold their inability to process or be on the path that you need to be, that they need to be on. Don't hold that against them. Because again, we don't know where they're coming from or what's going on in their world. Okay, don't lose your head. Facing fear with validation. So we have fear of failure and fear of success, which Elaine Bromka discusses a lot in our interview later. I want you to think about your emotions and how they happen. So what I mean is, I used to get angry a lot. Yeah, I could say it was because I was super sleep deprived, but the anger was usually a secondary emotion to an initial emotion. So whatever the event was that was upsetting, whether it was perceived or, something that happened in my environment, or maybe something that was fired in the brain, the neurons in my brain from a past upset. Whatever it was, I would be angry, and I would have the physical feeling of anger, tightness and clenching teeth and my hands and, into balls of fists. But the thing is that when I first started going to counseling, I didn't even know how to describe the physical feeling of anger. I just knew I was mad, and I was mad all the time. And after talking through what led to that event, and this happens well after you're angry, that sometimes that you can go back and talk about what led to the event, it was usually fear. Fear of the unknown, fear of what was coming around the bend. Let's talk about that physical manifestation of fear and anxiety, which, by the way, doing dialectical behavioral therapy, or DBT, has taught me a lot of these terms and ideas that I'm discussing with you today. Marsha Lanahan is the amazing woman behind the studies of DBT, which is based on CBT, which is cognitive behavioral therapy. So this idea of your emotions physically manifesting it's nothing new. We all have it. But sometimes they manifest themselves in different ways. As I said, it could be a smell or a sound that fires up that neuron from a past trauma. We don't know why we feel a certain way in that moment. All we know is that we're responding to the emotional upset. So that can be really unnerving, especially during a panic attack. If you think about it, let's say back in the cave people day, there's a tiger, and your internal response is to either fight that tiger or to freeze in fear or to run away. Okay? So now in modern times, where we're not facing a tiger, oh, maybe we are. We're facing other fears, yet our internal system is still overreacting. It's responding like there's a tiger in the room. Let me explain. So when you have a panic attack, you can have all these physical manifestations that seem to come out of nowhere. Your heart can race or pound, or you feel like you cannot catch your breath, or you're having a heart attack. Sometimes you feel like you're dying, and it's overwhelming. And the thing that we all are doing, just like when we can't control the thermostat, is our brain starts complaining. We go, why is this happening? What is going on? Why am I responding this way? And that in and of itself can make it worse, because now the next time it happens, well, who knows when it's going to happen again? And then you become fearful of going and doing things and so forth. Trust me, I've had panic attacks, and they've manifested in really different ways from each other. They have never been the same. And I will tell you that non-judgmental observation can help. But another thing is just validating yourself. Because what's the worst thing you can do to a screaming baby? Okay, I take that back. Your imaginations are running wild, I'm sure. Well, you don't want to yell at the baby, right? You wouldn't yell at a screaming toddler. I mean, maybe you would, but that shows less emotional intelligence, or being sleep-deprived mother or father. I get it. The thing is that our brains, we need to coddle them sometimes. We need to validate. We need to have grace with our internal thoughts. I mean, I'm sure you've all done it. So you're angry about something, or you're upset, or you're thinking on something, and your internal voice is like, shut up, stop it, quit thinking about that. Oh my gosh, I'm so annoying. It's all that self-negative talk. But what's really happening in an event like a panic attack is that we are doing that negative self-talk. We're going, why is this happening to me? What is going on? Ugh, I feel like a freak. I don't want to be around anybody. Everybody's going to judge me. Because our thoughts are racing, like we have to fight a tiger. So it's very difficult to control those thoughts. And it just kind of runs away from us. But the next time you have a panic attack, if you can try to breathe, obviously, because that's another thing we do, is kind of hold our breath in response to that tension. If you can breathe slower, if you can just say to yourself, yeah, I feel like a wacko right now. I'm losing my mind. And you know what? It's okay. The sweating, all of this stuff that's happening in a physical manner, it's gonna pass. And then maybe I can go back and discover what brought this on, because maybe next time I'll be better prepared. Maybe not. I don't know. We'll see what life brings. Here with me today is Elaine Bromka. She's answering some questions that I have on staying mindful and in the moment when you are on or off stage, especially during an audition, especially at this time when we're on video. Not only is she a professional actress for over 30 years, she's won an Emmy Award. She's on and off Broadway. She teaches. She's been on TV and in the movies. This woman has done it all, and she's seen it all. Welcome, Elaine. Thank you for...
Hi.
Elaine, as a seasoned actor, I want you to think back to, sometime, I don't know, as a seasoned actor, do you still get anxious and nervous prior to an audition? You still have to audition, or are you beyond that now? Because I understand you have a one-woman show, you're doing comedy, you've really reinvented yourself as you've proceeded through your career.
Right. A few times I've just been given things because people have known my work, but mostly, no, I have to audition. And yeah, you always feel sort of like, it's not your favorite activity, But I think if you go into it thinking, I don't need this. I don't need this one, because desperation really reads. And if you just go in to say, what's going to happen here? If you do your homework, first of all, and know the circumstances of the scene or whatever you're doing, and know what's at stake, know what you want from it, and then go for it and have fun. It's the joy that's really communicated. There are things you can't be doing. You can't be judging yourself. You can't be watching yourself and directing yourself. You can't be afraid to fail. You can't be unwilling to look stupid. You have to just go blah, and when you do that, oh, what a gift to an audience, because they feel your freedom. When they feel your freedom, they are made more free.
How would you suggest focusing your thoughts? Because I think that's one of the most difficult things that happens, especially when there's a lot of outside intrusions, whether it's what's happening in the world or with your family or just internally. How does one focus their thoughts prior to stepping into that space?
Yeah, there are a couple things. I have to say one big thing not to do, because so many people do it, do not go in and apologize. Do not go in and say, I just got the sides yesterday. Oh my gosh. No, I had my chemistry homework. I had it. No one cares. You go in, you just present. And I think it helps to think as a business person. Mm-hmm. You are there to solve their problem. They want you to be good. They want you to be right. They don't want you to be bad. It's more work for them. So knowing that you're helping the team is very helpful. Interesting too, just the shift in focus in your wording. If you say thank you for your patience, you're acknowledging that person. If you're saying, oh, we're so far behind, this is my problem, is what that reads like.
Right.
Totally off topic again, but when I was doing Girls, an episode of Girls, I complimented Lena Dunham in some way. I said, my daughter's crazy about you, and I thought, whatever it was. And she said, what a lovely thing to say. That is such a lovely thing to say. And I thought, wait, what did you just do? And I realized that most people, when they're complimented, sort of try to go through it quickly, and they feel on the spot, they're going, oh, thank you. Like, let's get beyond this, which makes the person giving the compliment feel a little rushed, unseen, dismissed, whereas her saying, that was such a lovely thing to say. Let us both have more time to enjoy it, to enjoy one another. I felt seen, she felt comfortable, and I thought, the emotional IQ here, unbelievable. Only actors stop breathing. Breathe for the impulse.
Oftentimes we really do need to think about it because, well, it is our system being overloaded. It's that fight or flight that happens when we're in those extreme situations, or what we perceive as being extreme. So we stop breathing and our adrenaline is pumping and we sweat and we have these physical manifestations like shaking or, fidgeting and that sort of thing. And when you think about how that can course through one's body, it sounds to me like you've been able to control that dragon, to be able to rein it in and let it fail or proceed or do and breathe within the scene, how would you suggest, besides breathing, are there any other tips in that?
Well, breathing is really basic. And also in the waiting room, not in the audition room. shake it. No, I've seen people go into the room and say, okay, I'm about to do Hamlet. And you think, no, don't do your exercises here. That's frightening. But in the waiting room, breathe, shake your hands out, whatever you want to do. Then when you go into the audition room, it's very nice just to say, hi, a pleasure, some little, like 1 or 2 sentences, to hear the sound of the room, to relax yourself, to be in the room with them psychologically. That's all you need. And you don't need a big long story about, oh, my dog was so crazy today. Let me tell you about it. No.
Right.
But just a sentence or two to warm things up. Don't shake their hands because, especially now, but even before, people want a little bit more distance just to see what's going on.
Right.
But that doesn't mean you can't be very warm.
Definitely.
I can't say enough about the importance of daring to fail, because you probably won't fail, but daring to fail will let you risk, and you have to risk. You can't play it safe. You can't do it in the manner of. That's too generic. And I think stepping back from doing, I think when we're nervous, we always think, well, how can I present? And what else shall I say? Some scintillating thing here. And all that. Whereas if you simply listen to them well, if you're warm, if you're there in a social situation, they'll think, wow, I really feel comfortable with you. We don't have to keep auditioning socially after we get the job, whether it's a costume designer or a role or whatever. We do the job, and then we're just a receptive human being that has something to offer.
Do you have any insights for,
I think we clearly sway, or what I often see people auditioning, this is hilarious. They'll be talking to you, and then they say, oh, mother, I wish I never knew you. And they're walking to the side. And I say, now, when do we just stroll to the side when we're in a conversation with someone? We don't. But I know that comes from the same place that swaying comes from. That feeling of, I've been here long enough, I should add interest to my audition. I'll walk a little. That doesn't add interest, doesn't feed the impulse. So I think instead of saying don't move, I would just say to someone, move for the impulse. Breathe for the impulse and move for the impulse. If you don't have a new impulse, feel free to stand your ground. Just be there. Just be there. You have to build someone up in what he or she is doing. Instead of saying don't, stop. That's not good, because that makes the person have all these little red flags around that they're watching now.
Right. In a sense, it's when we think about DBT and other therapeutic ways of treating ourselves, it's that negative self-talk that can also, it won't accomplish anything. All it will do is make it worse. So what you're saying is, in that moment, even if you're receiving negative feedback or negative body language, or you're noticing yourself doing the thing that you practice not doing, or that you don't want to do, it's just validating yourself in that moment. Hey, I did some rocking, I did some walking, and I'm back on track. Just having that kind voice, that internal voice that says, you know what, you're going to be fine. This is okay.
Yeah.
You're human. If you didn't make mistakes, we'd be robots, and that would be no fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or maybe it would. I don't know. No, I would much rather talk to people that have flaws and show their weirdness and their wackiness.
Yeah.
Just be yourself.
Yeah. Everyone else is taken, as they say.
Right.
Everyone else is taken.
Definitely. So, Elaine, I understand that you beyond your professional scope of stage acting, TV, Broadway, and writing your one-woman show, now that things have changed with COVID-19,
Yeah.
tell us how we can find you and what your offerings are now, because I know that you're amazing, and just talking with you, I don't know, I want to learn more from you. So.
Well, certainly going into this period now, we don't know if we're going to be back in a classroom, but so I'm offering virtual coaching, one-on-one coaching, class coaching for monologues and songs through Zoom, and people can reach me by going to elainebromka.com.
Okay.
ELAINEBROMKA.com.
Excellent. Well, and I'm super excited to see how that goes for you. I know that when I attended your class or your presentation at ITF, I learned so much, and it's something that I use in my presentations today when I teach and so forth. So it really stuck with me, just in your teaching style and how gracious you were with answering the students' questions and listening to, you know, I know that students go, "Oh, I have a silly question," but you're so gracious and
silly.
Also,
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
This has been absolutely amazing. It's
my pleasure.
Thank you so much for being gracious and giving, and I mean, per usual, but you know, I thank you for your time.
All right. Thanks so much.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Take care. Bye-bye.